Welcome to the Community Difference Frisco, powered by the Difference Media LLC, and hosted by Brian Poduska with Real Property Management, and also sponsored by Jax Kreider with PBJ Mortgage, Lauren Gill with My Live Love Travel, Debbie Watson with Abrakadoodle, Bethany Rowin with the B. Rowin Realty Group, Liliana Aranda with Window Hero, Eric Buchanan with Goosehead Insurance, Meena Singh, college counselor and prep coach. The Community Difference Frisco was created to serve as a platform for local leaders and business professionals to showcase their expertise, values, and commitment to their community. Overall, the podcast aims to create a stronger sense of community in North Texas by highlighting the often overlooked or unnoticed good work being done by local leaders, businesses, and professionals. So sit back and relax as our host, co-host, and their guests share inspirational stories, experiences, thoughts, and insights about being professional, along with the opportunities for our businesses to serve our communities in very special ways. Because a Community Difference Frisco starts now.
Well, good afternoon, Frisco, and welcome to the Community Difference Frisco. We're a podcast firmly rooted at the intersection of business development and community involvement. I'm your host, Brian Poduska. I'm the owner of Real Property Management Focus, where we focus on your real estate investments right here in Frisco and throughout the DFW area. You are watching episode number 68. Hard to believe we're already up to that number, but time flies when you're having fun. If you haven't seen our show before, we are a community-based podcast, and we bring community leaders onto the show to put the spotlight on them. Those community leaders fall in one of 5 different types of areas. That would be business owner, entrepreneur, community leader, Frisco ISD leadership, nonprofit leadership, and sports leadership, because we are Sports City USA after all here in Frisco. We also have a business topic that we like to talk about every month. It rotates. The topic of April is how to turn customers and partners into raving fans. So we will dive into that a little bit later in the show. Love hearing different perspectives on that topic, especially from one of those angles of those 5 different types of people that we have on the show. We also have rotating co-hosts every week. So let's go ahead and bring in our first co-host today. She knows a thing or two about making waves, literally and figuratively. From being the lead singer of a teen band that opened for Reba McEntire at a goat cook-off to pulling off a full 4-roll turn off a jet ski. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to say that all, but I did. Debbie Watson brings bold energy to everything she does. As the owner and education director at Abrakadoodle, she turns creative chaos into process art magic. She's all about planting her flag and never quitting. And today she's diving into how to turn customers and partners into raving fans. Let's say hello to Miss Debbie Watson.
Good afternoon, Brian.
Hi, Debbie. Good to see you again. How are you today?
I am doing fabulous on this nice and rainy day.
It is a nice and rainy day. Rain is much needed this time of year here in Frisco, so we are appreciative for it. And luckily, right now, we're not bringing the high winds and storms that come along with it.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, look forward to talking through some of the stuff that we have on the agenda today with you. Right now, though, let's bring in our second co-host, a henna tattoo pro who literally stopped the show by choking during a live interview. Now, that's a mic drop moment right there. As the college prep coach behind countless student success stories, Meena knows that building loyalty isn't just for Ivy League apps. It's the engine behind referrals and lasting success. Buckle up as she dishes out trust-building tips, growth mindset gold, and maybe even dinner with Kung Fu Panda. No choking this time, we promise. Let's say hello to Meena.
Hey, Brian.
Hi, Meena. Good to see you. I'm good. How are you today?
Good.
Awesome.
Yeah, I heard that. April showers bring May flowers, right?
That's right. Well, we're in April, so they're coming. Let's hope the flowers come in May. We're going to learn a little bit more about that in the What's Up Frisco segment.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, good to see you on board again this month. Let's do this. Let's introduce.
Hey, Brian, before you do, I've got one question. If April
Yes, sir.
showers bring May flowers, What do Mayflowers bring?
Allergies.
Pilgrims. There you go. Bingo.
Yeah. I had to go back in my dad humor library to remember that one, but
That's right.
luckily it's large. And there's your dad joke for the week. So thank you, Lendon. Lendon is the producer behind the scenes and the voice, the man behind the curtain there, and the founder of the Difference radio show, podcast, and live stream. So thanks for the dad joke, Lendon. We appreciate it. All right, with that, let's bring in our first guest. Not only can Rakisha turn a 60-minute speech into a 5-minute masterpiece, but she's also got a hilarious tale up her sleeve. Picture this. She's dancing in front of hundreds of people, and bam, her scarf gets stuck in her ponytail. Tune in as Rakisha shares her secrets on how to turn customers and partners into raving fans, and how embracing your quirks and talents can lead to lasting success. Get ready for a fun, engaging conversation that'll leave you laughing and learning. Let's say hello to Rakisha.
Hello.
Hi, Rakisha. How are you?
I'm doing great this day. How are you?
I'm good. So you got to tell us real quick, where were you dancing in front of that the scarf created a fun story?
Oh my, many years ago when I was in Las Vegas, of all places, don't judge me, I had a dance company and I was invited to dance for this program. And I thought, oh, it would be so creative to tie scarves to my wrists. And so when I went around my head, the scarf got and I tried to be creative. I looked just like this and I tried to be creative and untangle it, but it wouldn't. So I had to kind of dance in front of everyone for 2 uncomfortable minutes additionally. And I never forgot it, even though they might have.
Well, that's pretty impressive that you kept going. The show must go on, and it did, it sounds like.
Yes. Viva Las Vegas.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the show. Appreciate that fun little story.
Thank you.
All right. Well, last but not least, let's say hello to Tammy. She's a headstand and splits aficionado who once famously played an off-key electric violin at a major event, because who doesn't love a little drama, right? As Frisco's City Council Place 2, Tammy knows that leadership is all about doing what you can with what you have, and maybe adding a few serrano peppers for extra spice. Get ready for a conversation packed with resilience, community insight, and a dash of signature flair. Let's say hello to Tammy. There she is. Hi, Tammy. How are you today?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing awesome. Thanks for joining us today. Taking a break from the polls on a rainy day to jump in on the podcast. Great to see you.
Absolutely. I'm actually thankful for the rain. It gave me a little bit of a break.
There you go. Well, breaks are needed in this very busy time for sure. Okay,
Yes.
So tell us about this off-key violin situation.
Yes, it's so embarrassing. So I was playing with the guy. Do you know the Dallas violin guy? Have you heard of him? He plays the electric violin at tons of gigs. Anyway, I was invited to play with him. And for some reason, I could not quite hear the key that we were in. And I started playing, and then one of my strings also loosened. So then I sounded like I really didn't know what I was doing. I was so embarrassed, and I had to pretend like, I was fine. And he's looking at me like, something's wrong. And I'm like, no, it's all fine. And then finished up, and I said, I'm sorry. That was terrible. I'll never, ever live that down. So we're all good now, but it was probably the worst performance I've ever had in my entire life.
So the beauty and irony in that is, so you guys knew what was going on, right? But I'm guessing a lot of the audience probably didn't even notice or realize, is my guess. I know.
No, I think it was kind of a dance party. So we were sort of the dance track. Nobody cared.
Well, Tammy, you are running for re-election in City Council Place 2. I asked this of all of our guests. What is your favorite thing about the Frisco community?
My favorite thing, obviously, it's about the community itself and the welcoming spirit. I mean, I grew up in Rockford, Illinois, and Chicago is where I lived before I came here. Yes. Okay.
What? Chicago.
What's up?
Yeah. Did you say Rockford? Like, as in, you know where Rockford is?
Well, so I grew up in the Chicago area myself, and the only experience I have really in Rockford is that I played in the Rockford High School. They hosted like a holiday basketball tournament every year,
Okay.
and I'm trying to remember the arena.
You're
That
probably
was
at
in
Guilford High School.
You went to Guilford?
No, I didn't go. I did not go to Guilford, but you probably went to Guilford, right, to go play.
Yeah, and well, we
Yeah.
played against Guilford. We played in, I think it's called the Metro Center, which is
Yes.
like,
Oh my gosh, the Metro Center is where I did my first concert.
there we go. All right.
Yeah. What
awesome.
a small world.
What a small world.
Yes.
That's awesome. Love it. Well, it's funny
relate to.
since I'm from Chicago, we always tease out a few Chicago stories. So all the guests and co-hosts have to bear with me while we dive down the
Excellent.
Chicago lane. But
We got to have a whole other podcast for the Chicago
yes,
stories.
we'll take this one offline. But
Okay, yeah, perfect.
So anyway, back to your favorite thing about Frisco.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, I can't imagine serving in the capacity that I'm serving in Chicago or in Rockford. It's a very different place. And here we have a city that's so welcoming. It's an internationally diverse city. So I get to be on city council with this incredible group of leadership. And it was never even on my radar that I'd ever serve in this capacity. So it's all because of the spirit of Frisco, and I'm grateful to live here.
Love it. That's awesome. Rakisha, same question for you as a resident of Frisco. What's your favorite part about the Frisco community?
I've been here for 10 years, and to see how it has bloomed, blossomed, grown and expanded is constantly exciting. So every time I go out, I'm like, a new building, a new thing, because when I first moved here, it was a lot of green. And now I still get as a city girl, the country feel and the quiet with the city element as well. So Frisco is amazing for people who love growth.
Love that. Great answer. And very ironically leads us into our next segment, which is what's going on in Frisco, because there's never any lack of things to do in Frisco. So with that, Lennon, take us away to commercial break. We're going to talk about what's going on in Frisco right after that.
The Community Difference Frisco was made possible by Brian Poduska with Real Property Management Focus, Bethany Ralwin with the Beer Ralwin Realty Group, Liliana Aranda with Window Hero, Jack Skryder with PBJ Mortgage, Debbie Watson with Abrakadoodle, Eric Buchanan with Goosehead Insurance, Meena Singh, college counselor and prep coach, and by Lauren Gill with My Live Love Travel. The Community Difference Frisco. Together, we can make the difference. And now, back to the show.
Are you ready?
Because it's time for What's Up Frisco?
All right, welcome back. This is the What's Up Frisco segment where we're going to talk about what's going on around town, whether it be a networking event, a fundraising event, a campaign, you name it. We're going to lead off this segment with Tammy, and I want to make sure that we make this clear because we've been beating this drum for the last couple months on this show. But example I've been using is, you wake up every morning, you take a shower, and that water that comes out of your shower faucet is not brought to you by the federal government. It's not brought to you by the president that you voted for, every 4 years. It's brought to you by the city that you live in. And these municipal elections are extremely important. They're the most impactful to your personal daily life, yet there's so few percentage of the population that shows up to vote. So our message is get out there and vote. Tammy, thank you for joining us today. We've had other candidates on as well. We're agnostically just trying to get the message out from a candidate standpoint. So with that, we're going to let you lead off the What's Up Frisco segment to talk about what's going on with you.
Well, how much time do I have? Because there's a lot going on in Frisco.
Yeah, let me preface that. We do have a slide that was going to talk about, I believe, your upcoming event here. Yeah, there it is right there. So it's all yours. Take it away.
Okay. So, there's a lot going on in Frisco, but right now what's going on in Frisco is the election. And as you can see, early voting has begun. It will go through April 29th, and election day is May 3rd. I'm running for re-election. Obviously, I have loved serving our city. The work that it takes is not easy. It is a relatively, actually, it's going to take over your whole life if you want to do well. you have to be able to meet with constituents and help.
We gotta freeze up.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we'll when Tammy gets her connection back up line and online, we'll get her back in here. The key is early voting started 2 days ago on Tuesday. Get out there and vote. Final day in-person voting is May 3rd. So please get out there and vote. Educate yourself first, but please get out there and vote. Looks like we got Tammy back. Sorry, Tammy, we lost you there connectivity wise.
That's okay. I did see all of a sudden like nobody was talking, and I thought, is it me? Did I have any of that come through, or do I just start over?
So what I heard was, you covered the fact that early voting started on Tuesday. It ends the 29th. The election in person is on May 3rd. And the last I heard was it is a service position. It is a very, time intensive and relationship building type of role. And I'll let you take it from there.
And I mean, really, you want to see that there are people that have a track record of leadership, a track record of service. And so that's what I ask you to do is you do your homework on all the candidates, that you're looking for people who have made a difference and who've delivered results. So I'm not going to make this about a campaign, but I also want to tell you just about some of the things that are happening in the city that the council has been working on. And really, 3 of the things that I got to work on while I was in my first term are 3 projects that have taken over 10 years to actually come to fruition or make some progress. And one of those is Grand Park. We have a 1,000-acre park in the middle of our city that people aren't aware of, but we were able to approve a vision. We're working on phase 1 design. And if you go to the City of Frisco website at friscotexas.gov or my Facebook page, you'll see all of the incredible conceptual designs for what Grand Park will be in that phase 1. We're going to have a 6-acre pond where you're going to do some kayaking. I mean, the kinds of things you want to be able to do that you mostly have to leave Frisco to do, to get away from all of the concrete and the construction. So we're going to have it right here in the middle of our city. The hole on the toll, a lot of people are always asking, what the heck is going on over there at Lebanon and the tollway? And it has just been a big, huge literal hole that has been, I don't know how many dead bodies are in there, but it's scary to think about. But we finally approved a development agreement with a group called The Mix, and there will be a Whole Foods. There's going to be retail, hotel, office, a park. You can do a 5K track in there. That's so exciting. It was finally moving forward, and I'm proud to have been part of that as well. And then, of course, the Arts Center project. We have partners that have come to the table. Prosper ISD is interested with $100 million. We've got Broadway Across America and Broadway Dallas, so national and regional partners saying, hey, we're here. We want to be part of this. And if voters say yes, then we can come to the table and join them and work out the project and see how far we can go. So those are some 3 major things going on in Frisco that I didn't want people to miss.
Love it. Yes. And we've highlighted some of these on the show before, and exciting things for Frisco going forward. Grand Park was one of the things that was talked about when I moved here 13 years ago. And yep. I don't live too far away from there. And so to see that coming to fruition and some of the visions that are coming due is tremendous. So appreciate you highlighting those, Tammy. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to shift it over to Mina. She's going to talk about what was going to happen tonight in the rail district, but because of all the rain that we've seen today, it's going to be moved. But Mina, I'll let you talk about that briefly.
Yeah, so this is the lineup of artists by Melody of Hope. It's a nonprofit organization. It's their 11th anniversary they're celebrating in the Frisco rail yard, and they have fruit trucks and everything. It was supposed to be tonight, so that would have been good, but because of rains, I believe it's been shifted to May 15th now, Brian. But this will be a good event.
Kind of fortuitous because that is the week of the ACM Awards. So, I guess some rain does bring good things in addition to flowers, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Mina. Debbie, I'm going to shift it over to you. I want you to talk about what's going on in Kaleidoscope Park. Another thing that Frisco has brought to the
Yes.
table in the last couple of years. Well, last year.
Yes, and I love the Kaleidoscope Park. I have, when people come in town, I bring them there. But tonight they have every Thursday they have live music. Tonight, because of the weather, it has been postponed. But guess what? You can go next Thursday. But this Saturday they have the Saturday. So they have they'll have face painting and crafts, and they have a little petting zoo. Great time to take out the kids. That's from 10 to 12. But along with in the morning, the actual Frisco Rotary Farmers Market. So I've been out there and enjoyed the farmers market. It's awesome. They have all sorts of great crafts and different kinds of food. So be able to check that out on this Saturday. Go out there and just enjoy the beautiful Kaleidoscope Park.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Debbie. Yeah, get out there. There's always events going on. Just gorgeous over there. And also, speaking of Mayflowers, Mina, I want you to talk about this next one coming up. There you go. It's all yours.
So this is close to my heart because I don't have a green thumb, but I'm trying to get one. So that's why I think this is pretty important for people who want to, get ready for the flowers or the vegetables they want to grow in spring. So this is on Saturday. It's 9 to 10 a.m., 1 hour, and they have giveaways for the soil test if you want to see how your soil is ready for the flowers or not. So this will be a good event to go to if you are interested in gardening or getting into it, just like me.
Well, I think I need a soil test for my grass because I struggle with that every single year.
Yes.
So I may have
I
to.
can get you one. I'll be there.
Perfect. All right. With that, Lennon, I'm going to talk about the next few slides. Going along with the theme of, Earth Day and nature here, the 26th, so this Saturday, is the community cleanup. So get out there. 8 to 9 a.m. is the on-site registration. It's at the Frisco Heritage Museum is where that's all kicking off from. And then also this Saturday is the Frisco Uncorked event. It's presented by HEB. It's right there at Frisco Square from noon to 6 p.m. If you like wine, if you like food, if you like good times, come on down to Frisco Square on Saturday. Also on Saturday, this one's in the evening. It's at the NAC Theater right there in downtown, down the street from Frisco Square. Tony Deo, who is a national act, he tours around the country. He's been on some major programs. Get out there to the NAC and check out Tony this Saturday. And then near and dear to my heart, this is the Duck Dodge Donate Dodgeball fundraiser that Frisco Leadership Frisco Class 28, of which I'm a part, is putting on as a fundraiser for the Frisco Education Foundation. We still have a couple sponsorship spots open. So if you're a big company or have deep pockets, we'd love to talk to you. Of course, we have a few teams that are still available. So it is $500 a team. You can have up to 10 players. Come on out and join us. If nothing else, it will be a good time. It is free to spectate. So get on out there and join us at the dodgeball tournament.
And they can throw some dodgeballs at the community difference people.
Well, that's right. So the Community Difference has a team in the tournament. You can love us or hate us. You can throw dodgeballs at us. We welcome any political folks that want to come out. So Tammy, come on out on Friday morning. It's 9 a.m. Just be ready to dodge, duck, and hopefully donate.
Can I throw the balls?
Absolutely. That's what they're there for. Absolutely.
I might be ready for doing that.
What we might do is get you and your other place 2 and place 4 candidates out there and let you guys go at it.
That's right.
There's one
Be
way
healthy.
to say things, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think that's all the ones that I'm going to talk about. Debbie, I'm going to kick it back over to you to kind of bring us home here, and we've got a special guest coming in here shortly.
Yes. So May 3rd, right after the dodgeball, this Saturday, we have the Street Eats. It's the 13th annual food truck out there. But we, along with that food truck that's going on from 11 to 8, there'll be there music, things for the kids, but also our very own Acton Academy. We've had a couple of their students on. I've actually had Cindy, the founder, on the show. But the Acton Children's Business Fair will be at the fair. And we have a special guest, Charlie, who is a student there. Charlie is 10 years old, and he is an inspiring entrepreneur himself. So we're going to bring Charlie on so he can tell us more about the Acton Children's Business Fair. How are you, Charlie?
Good.
Well, tell us more about what you guys will be doing at the Street Eats on that day.
We're going to be doing the business fair, which is a place where kids can go and adults, anyone, if they want to, and have fun and be an entrepreneur. And the businesses that are going to be presented there are like games, bookmarks, stores, and more stuff like that. And the business fair is going to be from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Frisco Fish Market, Saturday, May 3rd. And we're also taking part in the gourmet food trucks and the live music festival. What's going to be there at those is going to be food, activities for children, and live music, and us. I want to tell you a little bit about my business, which is Charlie's Pictures and Portraits. What's special about it is my photos are higher resolution. They're cheaper than normal ones from skilled photographers. And I also do printouts. Make sure to mark off your calendars for Saturday, May 3rd. Thanks for having me.
Well, that's great, Charlie. So let me ask you one thing on your presentation. So how many different kinds of pictures will you have that we can look at when we go out there?
Hopefully like 10 to 20.
Okay. And are you going to take special orders if you're there? If someone finds something they don't like, could they put in a special order for you?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here. I can't wait. Let's tell everyone, go out, support these young kids. I know I'll be walking around judging some of the tables, so it'll be nice.
Bring your A game, Charlie.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today, buddy. Good to see you. Thanks for everything that you do.
Bye.
All right. Awesome. Man, he's the second youngster we've had on from Acton Academy, and they are impressive every time.
They are very impressive. Very impressive. I think I had the last one is May 8th is the 60th annual ACM Awards, which actually last year I had the privilege of being there as a seat filler, and I have filled out my application again. I had so much fun that I got to be down there on the front row. I get to sit by the stars. Sometimes I got to stay and sometimes I had to move, but it was amazing, the energy. I grew up listening to country music, and, my band actually did open up for Reba McEntire way back in the day, and she is the MC, so I'm excited for that. Great event that the Star gets to host, so we're very fortunate that it comes to our very own Frisco right here. Come out and see the ACM Awards.
Right there at Ford Center. Who knows? Maybe they'll pull you up on stage, and Reba will remember you and bring you up.
Yeah. What I heard, Brian, was that she's bringing Reba on the podcast. So that's what I heard.
Yep, that's right. Get her going.
But amen.
Awesome. And then last but not least, we're going to let Rakisha talk about her event coming up. So go for it, Rakisha.
The next chapter, book publishing blueprint, will happen May 31st. So you have some time, but don't take too long. You have some time. And these are for people who are looking seriously to publish a quality book, to enhance your business, to enhance your brand, or just to solidify your legacy. So that's May 31st, the next chapter series.com is where you'll find that. And let me know if you need more information. I'd love to see you there. Get right.
Awesome. Love it. And that brings us home on the What's Up Frisco segment. So obviously plenty going on around town this week and in coming weeks, and then even into next month. So like I said, no lack of things to do around Frisco. With that, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to dive into the business topic of April, which is how to turn customers and partners into raving fans. So stick around. We will be right back.
The Community Difference would like to thank each of the following partners for their continued support. At Fireboss Realty, we believe life is about relationships, and everything else is just details. Whether you're buying or selling, Scott and Amy Johnson are here to understand your family's unique needs and deliver expert guidance on the North Texas real estate market. With a reputation for integrity and personalized service, Fireboss Realty makes your home journey stress-free and successful. Ready to make your move? Visit firebossrealty.com and let's ignite your real estate dreams.
Everyone deserves access to affordable health insurance, but with traditional insurance, costs can be high and getting coverage can be complicated. JP Direct Health is a simpler, more affordable way to get the health coverage you need. With plans for individuals, families, and small businesses, you can save money on monthly premiums without the need for physicals. At jpdirecthealth.com, we specialize in customizing coverage to fit almost every budget with affordable PPO plans and many other benefits. With over 100 5-star Google reviews, JP Direct Health is a trusted resource making health insurance affordable and accessible for everyone year-round. Affordable health insurance solutions are a proactive protection, not a reactive solution. Visit jpdirecthealth.com today and see how much you can save.
I'm always here to help. Thank you.
Total Care Emergency Room now has 9 locations in the DFW Metroplex. With no appointment needed, our incredible staff will get you checked in with no wait times. Our 5-star facility is open and fully staffed 24/7. We offer extensive treatment options for patients of all ages, providing on-site labs and imaging equipment, including CT, X-ray, and ultrasound, allowing us to provide fast, convenient care for our community. Total Care ER is your neighborhood emergency room. TotalCare.us.
Unwanted pests in your home can be stressful. From creepy crawlies to critters under the floorboards, they disrupt your peace of mind. But don't worry. All Pest Solutions is here to help. We offer a comprehensive range of safe and effective pest control solutions. We target all types of pests, big or small, including insects, rodents, and wildlife. All Pest Solutions, your local experts for a pest-free home. Breathe easy and enjoy your life again. Call today for a free quote. 972-442-1169 or email us at customerservice@allpestsolutions.com.
To belong is one of our most basic human needs. Best Buddies International is the world's largest organization dedicated to ending the social isolation of 200 million individuals who have intellectual and developmental disabilities. We focus on meaningful one-to-one friendships, integrated employment, leadership development, and inclusive living. You have the power to make an impact, create change, and champion our mission of inclusion today.
Now back to the show.
Okay, we are back now. We had a little timing issue there on the sound and the commercial, but welcome back. We are going to dive into the business topic of April, another week here. So how to turn customers and partners into raving fans. I love this from multiple different angles. We've heard it in previous weeks too from different angles. So I'm excited to get into this topic with our guest today. When I think about the topic, right, and I think about the way that businesses are going to grow, a lot of advertising, a lot of marketing dollars are spent on focusing on and pulling in new customers, right? What if I told you that that's probably the most expensive way to grow? The real secret to success isn't finding more customers. It's in turning the ones you already have into raving fans who ultimately bring others with them. And what does that cost in relationship to what you're spending on marketing and advertising, right? So from that perspective, you know, I do want to get into the different angles, whether it be raving fans from a voting constituent, right, from a city council race, or Rakisha from, you know, you have your hands in multiple different things, right? So I'd love to hear it from both people's perspective, but let's start it off with just kind of a high level question about what truly is a raving fan, right? So Rakisha, let's start with you. How would you define what a raving fan is?
Really a brand ambassador, someone unprompted who tells everyone they know about your business because they have personally experienced great results from it. So they want others to share that same thing. So raving fans, brand evangelists, brand ambassadors, their life has been impacted and they want to share that.
Love that. And that you 100%. What does it cost to get a raving fan?
It depends on how much you've changed their lives, I think. The cost can be taking time to really build a relationship and a real connection with someone. And then when they feel that way, they're a little more apt to support you versus just sell, or client-based thinking.
Yeah. No,
Brian, can I ask one question on that, just to dive just a little bit deeper even in that? I mean, so to your question of how much it costs, but even think about when you look back, was there a mindset shift that helped you to move from delivering value to creating an evangelistic, person?
Yes. And for me, it was really finding out what was missing for them. And when I met that need, I didn't have to convince them. They already knew, you are exactly what I've been looking for. Please help me and let's talk. And that's the difference, really paying attention to the feedback that you're getting from your customers or your clients and applying that in a way that makes it very simple for them to say yes.
Yeah, I love that. And I love the aspect of, it's impactful, right? Changing someone's life and changing lives. That you said that, and that just resonates with me because, once you make an impact on somebody's life, you don't have to pay that person for advertising. They're all of a sudden a beacon for you, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Tammy, I'll direct similar question to you from a public servant standpoint, and specific in Frisco. How do you go about creating a raving fan, as a leader of Frisco and for the citizens of Frisco?
You know what Rakisha said is exactly what you do in public service. You got to change people's lives. And when you do that in whatever small way, when the constituent has reached out to you with a problem and you get to help solve it, all of a sudden they are a raving fan. They not only follow you, they are a multiplier. And I think that's what you want to see in whether it's a business or in public service, that it's not just the one individual that's coming alongside or your one client. They are multiplying that effect. And you have hundreds of people based on that one thing you did or that one problem you solved. So that's how I look at it. And it's always incredible to me that those brand ambassadors or, the people that follow you and now have multiplied, like I'm meeting people at the polls that are like, oh my gosh, this person told me about what you did. And so that's why you have my vote. Or I read this thing about you. And so it's really interesting to see the ripple effect, I guess, of those multipliers and the people that have become raving fans and how it's expanded. And I think if you want to run for an office or if you want to have a successful business, you've got to have those people around you. You got to have those raving fans.
Love it.
Yeah, so if I can segue from there, Tammy, you've served Frisco for some time. So would you have an example for us that would showcase that how can we intentionally make people our raving fans? So what can be done for, say, business people or community leaders to make people your, say, an ordinary customer a raving fan?
Yeah, well, it really does have to do with building relationship. So one specific example is, for us and for actually anyone that's has a business, you get your first point of contact. That person reaches out to you for whatever reason. And that you have your window of time to make your impression of who you are, how to build trust, how to make sure that you are connecting enough so that is strong and that will multiply. And so there was somebody that I met actually at a meeting at the library, and he came right up to me and said, Tammy, you don't know me in person, but I wrote to you 2.5 years ago, and you were the only council member that wrote me back and helped us solve this issue. And he said, from that point on, I've been following you. I came to this meeting because you posted it on social media, and I brought these 10 neighbors, I'm like, oh my goodness. Like it was just because of an email that I returned and we had an exchange and I never met the guy in person, but it made that much of a connection just immediately. So I think you have to do that, whether it's how you're going to serve the city or what your product is going to give to them. You have to show that meaningful relationship building. And it's always about relationships, no matter what.
Yeah. As Myron Golden always says that, you don't sell a product, you make a customer, because you keep coming back and you can make the sales. Yeah.
For life. Yeah.
And I love what you said there, Tammy. And one of the things we say quite often on the show is, one of our slogans is be seen, be heard, be remembered. And another theme that we reiterate quite often is the fact that you're branding yourself, whether one way or another, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right. So to put into action the example that you gave of, responding to somebody's email that nobody else responded to, or the example that you gave of you have sometimes milliseconds of interactions with people to make that impression. It goes so far in creating that raving fan. Maybe it doesn't start as a raving fan, but the more of those interactions you get, the more that snowball builds, so to speak. One thing that I got this morning, and I've commented on it, is I get an early morning text message from somebody running a campaign, and it's not fact filled. It's
negative.
Yeah, it's negative. It's somewhat condescending, right? So it's one of those that you're branding yourself, whether you like it or not.
So true.
And so,
and it's got to be, it's intentional. Like what for a candidate, different from what your business is, you have a product that is your brand and you have to brand that product. For candidates, for public figures, we are the brand, we are the product ourselves. And so we have to figure out what is our value proposition and how do people feel with me as the person, as the product. And immediately you can get a text and you have a sense of that brand and it's not what you want, or you get an opposite for somebody else.
Right. And education goes along with that, right? So
that's right.
That little bit of information that I got this morning was more education as a voter, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, and along that line, and this could go to both of you, but I'll turn it over to Rakisha and then Tammy, if there's something that you could relate to. When you have successful partnerships are based with alignment, shared values, and long-term vision. So Rakisha, how would you keep partnerships engaged or energized after the initial hype fades? I mean, they're all excited, but then how do you keep that partnership engaged?
Right. I think too, planning makes a difference in understanding what that partnership journey is, not just how you start a partnership, but how you continue it. Just like in marriage, you got to keep it, spicy. You got to keep your partnership that same way too. Having benchmarks, even in your partnerships, we're going to continue this. This is not just we're excited to do a ribbon cutting and then we forget that we need to nurture what we do. We need to be creative about how we're continuing that. I think some businesses do that very well. So just making sure in your partnerships, not only are you listening, but you are winning for the both of you. You can't have partnerships that are out of balance, where the business owner or the client, someone's losing. No one wants to feel like their money is being spent or they are providing a service for someone to their detriment. So it really is about that ebb and flow and balance of how are we doing this where we have a win-win situation. Right. In our partnership, and then evaluating that, and then how do we continue? What's the next level of our partnership? Partnerships don't have to stay the same, they can grow. And then you don't have to lose people either. You can say, okay, if this is intense for you, we can step it down a little bit, but still maintain that connection. And I think that is being very aware of what is going on and keeping the connection in that partnership.
No, I definitely love that. And I'm sure, Tammy, you could even answer the same question, is aligning and sharing values, because you definitely have a vision. How do you kind of keep that partnership with your people out there that you want to support you?
Well, I mean, I think it's not just the partnership with the people, but I mean, even as a council member and as a council, we've got partnerships with other businesses, private businesses that we've had to create. And the number one most important thing is communication. Communicate, over communicate, because if you have a lack, or a delay, then some things are inadvertently communicated, and that causes miscommunication. It causes some distrust. So for me, what I've seen is, and then that translates to the constituents as well. Like if we have an announcement that we're putting out there and we haven't put enough communication on whatever it is, it causes some confusion. It might cause some distrust. So what I have seen, sorry, my phone is blowing up because it's election season. And something is going on clearly, and I will check it later. I'd rather be here. But it's all about communication and making sure that we make what our priorities are known, and then we hear what the other side is saying. And, we've had discussions with partners where we've realized we're not going down the same path. So it's okay. We'll make it amicable, and you can do your thing and we'll do our thing. And there isn't going to be like a shared partnership there. But in the case when it does work, you have to keep that line of communication open, and be willing to give a little, and then, they're going to take some more as well. But if in the absence, what I've seen is people fill it with all kinds of narratives, and that's where the danger is.
Well, funny on the dings, Tammy. As a musician, hopefully they're more, there's a melody to them as they come in. They're not just random, right?
I know, some rhythm or melody or something.
Right. Well, I did want to give a shout out to. We've had a lot of comments, and I haven't been able to talk to them yet. But I saw Lauren chimed in. I said, "There we go. There's Lauren's. There's Chuck. Awesome. Yeah, there we go. So we've had a lot of comments come in. Nathan, what's up, my man? Come on out to the dodgeball tournament. So thank you for watching and chiming in. We appreciate that.
Hey, Brian, I'm
yes,
thinking
sir.
that ding is another 50 votes every time it goes up.
If that's the case,
Amen.
I was thinking they were like, go Tammy on the Community Difference podcast. They were just cheering you on.
That's right.
Exactly.
So I had a question, Tammy. A little more deeper thought. I was thinking that, you know how politics and even in business, it's so competitive, right? It's so difficult to keep attention or to make that connection. So how do you pivot, say, if somebody's not seeing eye to eye to you for your vision, right? So how do you, what is your approach? What is your strategy for that?
Mm-hmm. Well, in our role as council members, I see that we exist in between our staff and our constituents, because we've got to always be listening. And then there is sometimes from our staff, like, it's not possible. It can't be done within budget, or that's not in our line or boundary. And so in that middleman position, sometimes it can get really tricky, because I have to be the bearer of bad news. I'm sorry, we can't actually do something about that particular issue at your business, because it's between you and this other entity, not us. And it's not always easy, but what I have learned is that I can't take it personally. And the more I can just kind of keep the emotion out of it and just let them, sometimes they have to cry and tell me how frustrating it is, and it's okay. And we take on almost a counselor role. And I have to remain as neutral and but as warm and welcoming as possible. And remember, this isn't directed directly at me. So I think if you can kind of, and then I go home and I'll vent if I need to. But I never ever let a constituent experience like unkindness. I'm very conscious that every interaction I have with anybody is kind, because at the end of the day, people don't remember what you said, or how you did it. They remember how they felt when you interacted.
Yeah, exactly.
So how do you kind of cultivate this kind of intentionality, I would say, in your behavior?
Truly, it's, I'm a person of faith, and I could never do this on my own. So I do think about that. I'll lift up a prayer and just be like, help me stay calm. I mean, gosh, during the forums, it was really hard to be calm and cool and collected when there's just lies upon lies upon lies. And I just have to remember, okay, I got to sift. I've got to be that shining light. I have to be the aspirational person. Like, I want to be the person that I can look to and say, I want to be like that person in the midst of chaos. And that's not something that's found within me. I really, I draw upon God to do that. But that's the only way to do it, because if it were just up to me, I wouldn't even be, probably in office, because I'd be throwing things at people and yelling and screaming. It's frustrating.
It might be helpful. It might be helpful to get like a punching bag or something.
Yeah. Well, and to that point, I'm a musician, and so I make sure that I insert some things that I love to do in my week every week, and that's playing the piano. And I have to do it. Like, I will start to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to make it through the next day if I don't sit there and play and let the music and the emotion all out. It's, people journal, sometimes they exercise, whatever it is. But for me, it's playing piano. It really helps to kind of, it's music therapy for me, for sure.
Yeah, love that.
Rakisha just writes another book. So
yeah, there you go.
I was about to ask Rakisha that. What
you guys create like awesome stuff. I just go throw weights around and
you stay healthy.
All right. Well, what I'm going to do to wrap up the business segment is the segment we call What's the Difference? So play that sounder real quick, and then I'm going to ask a couple questions around the horn here.
And now it's time for What's the Difference?
All right. So what's the difference? I'm going to ask a what's the difference question between A and B, and I'd like to hear your guys' answers on it. We're gonna go with the guests here. So Rakisha, let's start with you. And it's kind of fundamental to the business topic at hand is really what's the difference between a customer and a raving fan?
Yeah, a customer is more transactional, I would say, and based on what that one person needs. And then a fan is more of it's a long-term supporter, more relationship based, and someone who actually wants what you have next and asks you for more.
Yeah, that's it. You got it. You nailed it. All right, Tammy, question to you. This is a good one because, again, from a public servant perspective, what's the difference between customer service and customer experience, or let's say voter service or voter experience?
Between service and experience?
Yes.
Yeah. So I would look at it like transaction, right? If you need to go pay your bill and you go and do that, that's a service that you have to do, and it just happens. But the experience is everything around it, including how easy was it to park? How was the person at the desk? Did you feel a certain way about your entire experience of it? And that's what we do want to make better in Frisco. And in fact, we're doing that with our service experience. Our city hall is getting a major renovation. And so your whole experience of even coming into City Hall and experiencing Frisco in the lobby to pay your bill is going to be very different now. So it's a good question for us.
Yeah, especially, I mean, that building has a totally different feel than it did even a few years ago when the library was still there. So.
You're going to be amazed when you see, I mean, it's awesome. And even for the employees, it has really changed how they feel about coming into work.
Yeah, I got to see a sneak peek of it when we spent our day at City Hall, and they walked through. It was very mindful and thoughtful about how they went about that rebuild, which is pretty cool.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we've got time for at least one more question. What's the difference between a referral partner and a brand ambassador? Rakisha, I'll throw that one at you.
Right, referral partners for me, I pay them. It's someone who they know the service that they're going to get. They want to share it with their people, and I do work out some type of deal for them to keep those referrals flowing.
Yeah, that's good. What about from a public service standpoint, Tammy? Same question. The difference between a referral partner and a brand ambassador.
So I would say this is like the difference between having a resident know that your email is on the website and they can access you at any time, sort of a referral. But a brand ambassador is somebody like today I have 2 meet and greets where somebody is hosting me in their home, opening their home for 30 people to come and meet me, and they want me to make those new connections with their circle. That's a brand ambassador. That's something that is far above and beyond just a resident knowing that I'm their city councilwoman.
Yeah. Oh, very good example. I like that. Okay, well, that puts a nice tidy bow around our business topic. Thank you guys for your insights. That was awesome.
Absolutely.
What we're going to do right now is take a quick commercial break, and we're going to do a little spotlight deep dive on both Tammy and Rakisha on the other side of the commercial break. So we'll be right back.
Breaking barriers, creating opportunity, and redefining influence. To our incredible partners, co-hosts, and those who stand with us in the difference. You probably noticed it. The resistance, the pushback, the whispers in the background. Why? Because we are disrupting the power balance that has kept too many people in the shadows for far too long. For years, certain voices in our communities have been shut out, overlooked, and underestimated. While select few control who gets seen, who gets heard, and who gets remembered. That's not just unfair, it's unproductive. We are changing that. We are creating a platform where influence is reserved for privileged few, where business leaders, community builders, and change makers who have been ignored finally get their spotlight, their voice, and their seat at the table. And that makes some people uncomfortable, because when you open doors that were once locked, when you introduce new voices into spaces that were once exclusive, when you prove that success isn't dictated by a small circle of gatekeepers, it shakes the foundation of the old way of doing things. But here's the truth. We're not here to ask for permission. We are here to build something bigger, stronger, and more inclusive. We are here to create opportunity, visibility, and impact for those who have been left out of the conversation. And if that makes them uncomfortable, so be it. Growth is uncomfortable. Disruption is uncomfortable. Change is uncomfortable. But progress, that's unstoppable. To our partners and co-hosts, keep showing up. Keep amplifying voices that deserve to be heard. Keep proving that collaboration, visibility, and authenticity are stronger than exclusivity. We're the difference. Not because we say so, but because we show up, stand up, and build up. Let's keep making waves.
And now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back. This is our final segment, and oftentimes my favorite one because we get to learn about who our guests are, right? So we've been talking business topics, we've been talking about Frisco. Now we get to learn about Rakisha and Tammy. So I like to start this segment off with kind of a fun question. Sometimes I'll give you a nice, easy softball lob that you can hit out of the park. This one might be I'll call it medium level question. But since we have two talented ladies on the show today, I have zero talent in this regard. So I'm going to ask you guys, karaoke gun to your head. You have to do karaoke whether you like it or not. What is your go-to song? And Tammy, you're laughing, so I don't know if that means you don't have one or you have one. So let's hear it. What you got?
I'm like a product of the 80s, so like anything 80s, but it's sort of weird too. 80s and 90s. But Richard Marx, I loved his songs, so it's always one of those.
Okay, impressive. Rakisha, what about you? Karaoke gun to your head. What song are you singing?
Independent Women by Destiny's Child.
Oh,
That's spoken like a professional, like somebody who's done it before.
that's right. I've done this regularly.
Her back career was in music, so
I can respect that. That's awesome. Well, I've been to a couple of karaoke nights over at the Owl Bar right here in Frisco on right down the street from the Star. So if you're interested, Rakisha, in busting that out, go on to the old Owl Bar every Friday and Saturday night. I think they have karaoke.
Super fun.
Okay, so Tammy, question for you. Having come from the Rockford, or I'll call it the greater Chicago area, right? Since Rockford, I'm going to call it an extension of Chicago. Are you a White Sox fan or a Cubs fan?
Oh, I'm a White Sox fan. My brother was a White Sox
London,
fan.
cut her off. Get her off the show.
I mean, I'm not going to not cheer for the Cubs, but like my brother was a huge Ozzie Gann fan. And so like he was always telling me it's got to be the White Sox, it's got to be the White Sox. So that's why.
All right. Yeah, there you go. There's the buzzer.
Oh, no. Did I lose the voter?
Well, like we can agree to disagree on certain things, whether it's political or sports teams from Chicago baseball specifically.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you can't tell, I'm a Cubs fan, so we'll agree to disagree on that one. That's fine. Awesome. All right, so Rakisha, what brought you to Frisco?
It was a family decision at the time, and I had no idea that Frisco was the place, but miraculously we ended up here. And my joke for people who don't know what Frisco is it Dallas? Well, you know how that is. I say, we live in Oz. So 10 years ago, made my journey from Las Vegas here, and I absolutely love it.
So you said 12 years ago?
10.
Oh, 10 years ago. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you've been here a long time. You've seen well, in Frisco terms, that's like an eon, right? That's a long time.
A long time.
Almost an OG.
Yeah.
Almost have a Texas accent. Oh.
I know.
And Tammy, what brought you down to Frisco?
It was actually my husband's job. So we were in Chicago, and there was it was called Publicist Group, and they had an office out here. And his parents kept saying, "You need to come to Frisco. You need to come down to Texas. It's better than where you are." And the job did allow him to transfer over here, so we did come in 2004.
Gotcha. Cool. Debbie, you got a question?
Yeah. So, Rakisha, I know that you're an entrepreneur, a publisher, a writer yourself. But that wasn't the journey. As we talked about, you kind of had a career. And so what led to switching from performing and music and all that to what you're doing now?
Yes, I've been a theater lover forever. Performing arts was my thing. I love it. My daughter's doing it now. She's following in my footsteps. And writing was one of those things. It was a hobby at the time. And so I went to USC in Southern California, Fight On Trojans, and had an English degree. And people are like, why would you do that? So long story short, I published my first book in the arts. And I thought people were going to rave about my writing, but they raved about the production. And so it became a huge business of over 1,000 authors worldwide now, because they wanted to learn, how do I publish with excellence? So sometimes things follow you. And if you just do things very well, there's businesses that will find you, and you don't necessarily have to come up with the creativity. People will put a demand on you for it.
Awesome.
Love that. Okay, couple questions for you, Tammy. Let's see. So you said you moved from Chicago. Where were you last in Chicago? Was it City of or suburb?
No. I say Chicago because nobody's ever heard of any of these other places. But we were in Evanston, with Northwestern.
Yeah.
And then we were in a city called Vernon Hills.
Okay. Yeah, I grew up in Buffalo Grove, so not too far away from Vernon Hills.
Oh my gosh! What? We were
Seriously,
practically neighbors. That's crazy.
We're gonna have a little coffee.
I mean, we probably ate at the same restaurants. Like, that's crazy.
I might have cut you off in traffic. If I did, I apologize. All right. So
funny.
more on the. So I heard you say you never envisioned yourself, being a leader in a city like Frisco. So, and being a public servant,
being a leader.
Yeah, well, and being on city council in particular, you put yourself in the line of fire, right?
Yeah.
So, and you knew that before you got into it. Nobody goes into that role thinking it's going to be, all roses. Right. So, what inspired you to join that insanity and run for public office?
Yes, that's such a great question. So, it's pretty countercultural for any Asian woman to raise their hands and be like, hey, I don't think this is the direction you should go, and you should listen to me. So it's already kind of a hard uphill climb culturally. But then also what happened in 2022 is there was, a 2-term incumbent that was very much somebody that I did not think should be in that seat and returned. She was up for re-election, had voted to defund the arts over COVID. And I'm like, we had to put a group together to try to advocate to keep that arts funding, because in COVID, we all needed the arts. We all would have gone insane if we didn't have music and books and movies and puzzles. So I just could not understand why anybody would try to defund the arts in 2020. And then, kind of her other position was that we were a little too early for talking about multicultural or creating diverse programming in Frisco. And I'm like, we are in the middle of an international city, and we're becoming increasingly more diverse. Like, now is the time to talk about this stuff. And so I thought, somebody's got to run against her. So I tried to find somebody to run against her, and nobody would, because she's a 2-term incumbent, and statistically it's impossible to beat a 2-term incumbent. So I'm giving you the long story short is I held a concert. It was kind of my last hurrah. Like, maybe I'm done with Frisco. Maybe I can't, do any more than I already have. And my concert had 200 people, including the mayor and 3 other council members. And they said, Tammy, you have the support if you want to do what you want to do. And it wasn't like, hey, you need to run. It was just hint, hint, look around you. You have support. So I thought, okay, maybe I have to do it. Maybe it's not somebody else doing what I'm asking somebody to do. I have to be the one. So I went into thinking, I'm just going to be an option because I don't want to vote for her. So I'll vote for me, and let's see what happens. And then within a week, she dropped out and the election was canceled. And it's like unheard of in Frisco history that 2 seats on the city council were both unopposed. So the entire election was canceled. I never even bought a yard sign, and I was in council. So it was meant to be, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I love that, because I know even with Rakisha, you're in a group that is diversity too. So I love the fact that I think I've heard that word several times about Frisco. So, I love that, because I know Rakisha's in a group with Kevin Westerhouse.
Oh, you're Westerfield. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah,
okay, Rakisha's like my new best friend. Yeah. Everything that she's been saying. Yes, and yes. And then she's got the music background, and I mean, so many things that we have in common, Rakisha. I'm so excited that we got connected through the show.
Yeah. That's what I love about these shows.
Yeah.
We connect.
So that's a key point right there. Like, and I'm not here to sell the show by any means, but we've had authentic connections like this on so many shows. So being here every week, I get to sit here and watch it happen, which is really, really pretty exciting as the host of the Community Difference. So that's awesome. Question for you guys, and Rakisha, I'll direct it to you first. So what do you like to do in Frisco on your free time, or wherever? It doesn't have to be in Frisco.
This might sound so basic. Walking. I love it. And I explore different things. I don't always stick to the same path. And coming from California, I was originally born there. It's so safe and nice, and it is calming, and I get great ideas. And I just feel so refreshed. So really exploring the many places to walk here is amazing.
Well, that's I love to hear that, because of exactly what Tammy mentioned earlier with Grand Park and Frisco and the CDC. They all do a great job of bringing that opportunity to the citizens. And obviously the safety factor, we have one of the best, if not the best, police forces in the country. So it's I'm glad you said that, because that's the first time anybody has said that. And I know people walk all the time, but I love that that's an activity that you mindfully make in a decision that you make. So that's super cool. Tammy, same question to you. What do you do for fun around here?
Well, first I was going to say, Rakisha, so there's 70 miles of trails in Frisco.
Yeah.
And I know, and so you can go on our website too. If you're like, I kind of want another trail, there's a whole trail page where you can find them. And I've found places in Frisco that I didn't even know existed either, from just those walking trails. But I love that that's your answer. I'm going to tell our parks department. And they will be so happy. For me, it always, like I said, it's number one, it's being with my music and being able to not have to speak at all, because I have to do a lot of speaking. So it's a chance for me to speak, but in a very, totally non-judgmental and free form way. So that's my number one, is my piano at home. But then I think, the other thing we like to do around Frisco is, the PGA area is so cool. It feels like you're somewhere completely different.
Yes.
So if you're at the Ice House, or just, at the Omni, and the awesome thing is it's open to the public, so you don't have to have a membership. You can just walk around. And ever since that opened, I mean, I've had so many meetings in the restaurant underneath that they all know who I am, and they're like, okay, where do you want to sit this time? And so I just love bringing people up there, because I'm like, you have to experience this side of Frisco, because you've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, that's a great point. For Father's Day last year, I have 19-year-old twins, and they don't. Well, my son plays golf, my daughter doesn't. But we went up and played the little par 3 track that they have over there, and they loved it. Like I said, my son plays, but my daughter doesn't, and she loved it. It didn't matter that she didn't play golf.
That's right.
And then I brought my youngest daughter there, and we did the putt. You know, the what do they call it? The dance floor. Yeah. So we did a couple 18-hole rounds around there in about an hour, and it was super fun. So yeah, good call.
Yeah, I mean, I will say in the future, by 2030, if voters say yes to Props A and B, I will say my favorite thing to do in Frisco is to go to the new Center for the Arts.
Right.
And go see a show, watch whatever it is, and then walk around. There's going to be a path that will connect you from the Center for the Arts into Firefly Park. The vision on that is absolutely incredible. So I hope voters understand what we're trying to do, and not using your property tax money at all, using sales tax revenue. So it's really almost like a free gift to the citizens.
Yeah.
So that answers, I think, my question, Brian. I wanted to ask Tammy that, what is the legacy that, she wants to build, and, what does she envision, see for future in Frisco, and how does she want people to remember her?
Oh, well, I guess I answered it.
And so connected with that.
I think we're running tight on time, but I think that absolutely answered it, because that is absolutely 100-year legacy type project. So thanks for calling that out, Tammy. I just want to wrap with this, guys. I'm going to go around to our guests and ask you guys, what was your key takeaway from the show? And let's keep the answer to about 30 seconds max. So Rakisha, let's start with you.
My key takeaway is Frisco continues to be a rich community of people who actually care about what happens in their city, and this is proof of that. All of you are new to me, and I can't wait to continue our connection and see what we can do to make our city better.
Awesome. Love that, and absolutely agree with you. Tammy, same thing for you. What's your key takeaway from being on the show today?
Well, I just want to make sure that if I get frozen, I feel like I'm starting to lose connection again. So I would just say, once again, relationships. I absolutely love what you guys are doing. I think you're making a stronger Frisco by this conversation and by the many conversations you're having. So just thank you. And I now have some new friends. So thank you.
There we go. We're building friendships and building awareness, right? So awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you, too, for being our guest today. Really a pleasure. Really engaging conversation. So thank you for that. Nina and Debbie, as always, thank you for being my week 3 co-hosts. It is another great week, great month. So with that, guys, we're going to wrap the show. Have a hopefully dry weekend. Get out there and vote. And we will see you next Thursday and next Friday at the Dodgeball Tournament. Until then, take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching today's show.
The Community Difference Frisco was made possible by Brian Poduska with Real Property Management Focus, Bethany Ralwin with the Beer Ralwin Realty Group, Liliana Aranda with Window Hero, Jax Kreider with PBJ Mortgage, Debbie Watson with Abrakadoodle, Eric Buchanan with Goosehead Insurance, Meena Singh, college counselor and prep coach, and by Lauren Gill with My Lid Love Travel. The Community Difference Frisco. Together, we can make the difference.